Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Man, it's Anelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Manny Antonelli here. So as you guys already know, the San Diego Padres have made two huge trades for Blake Snell and Yu Darvish. They also signed Kim, a Korean infielder, and they've made a major jump and a major step towards a possible World Series in 2021. Dodgers still probably the most talented team, but Padres have really narrowed the gap. Some people are already saying that the Padres are better than the Dodgers. I won't go there just yet, but it should make for a really, really exciting 2021 season. And we still have some ways to go here, so there could be a lot more moves that come. But Juan Rivera, our pitching coach, gave me the idea yesterday. He said, why don't you take a peek and compare your 2008 Padres to the 2021 Padres, and let's see what those two teams look like. So I'm sure you guys already know I made a brief Major League debut in 2008, and our team, let's just say it wasn't a very good year. 2007 we were good, 2008 kind of a rebuilding year, and then at the end of the year we basically had a lot of guys that had just got called up. And so I pulled up our lineup from 2008. We're going to look at it, and then we're going to compare that to the projected lineup of 2021 for the Padres. Now, what I'm going to look at is WAR. So WAR, if you don't know, is wins above replacement. Basically, it's kind of an easy way to compare players. Now, it's not a perfect stat, but an easy way to think about it is the higher the number, the better. If you're in a negative, like I am, you'll see in a second, then that basically means that I'm worse than a replacement player. Basically, any player you can pick up from, I guess, AAA or wherever, all right? And so the higher the number, the better. Now, a few things to keep in mind again before we get into these numbers. Now, for the 2008 WAR, that's a 162 game season, all right? So keep that in mind. For comparing that to the 2021 projected lineup, we're going to use WAR from the 2020 season. I'm not going to try to project out what their WAR will be next year. We're just going to look at what they looked like in 2020, what their WAR was at that point in time. And you got to keep in mind that in 2020 was only a 60 game season, all right? So I had to do a little bit of math to try to make it even. So keep that in mind. The last thing I'll say about this is the 2008 team for the Padres, a lot of those guys, again, were called up late. Like, so for me, I only played a month, and I only started probably about half of the games that month. And so it's really difficult to have a high WAR if you only play in a few games. The more games you play, the more opportunity you have to accumulate WAR. So just keep that in mind. That's not an excuse. I didn't hit very well, so I deserve a negative WAR. But just keep it in mind, there's going to be some young players on that team, and it's hard for guys that haven't played very much that year, if we got called up late, to be able to have a very high WAR. And the last thing I'll say is this is an imperfect comparison, okay? So it is very difficult to look at 2008 and compare it to this year. I'm also not trying to say that the 2008 team stunk, although we weren't very good, at least when I was up there. But what it is showing is if you're a Padres fan coming into the 2021 season, look what you have to be excited about. In 2008, this is the team that you watch at the end of the year. And obviously I was there, and it was not a very good year. And what you have this year, for the first time in a really long time, is starting off a season where you actually could win the World Series. Like, people are actually saying this team might actually make it to the World Series, and they have a chance to win the whole thing. And that's really exciting for Padres fans. Okay, so let's stop talking and let's take a look at the 2008 team versus the 2021 projected team. Okay, so here we go. So we've got 2008 on the left, and we've got 2021 on the right. 2008, 63-99 was the final record for our team. So basically here I have every position, and then I included 5 starters and then a couple of relievers. One thing to keep in mind as well, like I said, late in the season for 2008, we didn't really have like an everyday starting lineup. So I just kind of picked what I kind of remember as a starting lineup. It did switch a lot. Like I said, I didn't play every game at second base, but I did the best that I could. Okay, so behind the plate, we've got Hundley. We got the Hundo with a .6 WAR. We got Adrian Gonzalez at first here, 3.6. Then we had me, negative .3, that a baby. Then we had Luis Rodriguez at a .1. We had Kevin Kuz with a 2.2. We had Headley in left field that year with a 1. Then we had Will Venable, mostly played center that year, with a .8. And then Brian Giles with a 4.8. Jake Peavy as a starter, 4.5. Then we had Chris Young, now GM Chris Young with a 1. We had my buddy Whey LeBlanc with a negative 0.4. We had Josh Gere with a 0.7. We had Justin Germano with a negative 0.3. And then in the bullpen, we had Trevor Hoffman, who at that point was like 40 with a 0.2. Heath Bell with a 0.8. And then Mike Adams, who was pretty nasty with a 1.4. So if you add all that up, it's a 23.7. And again, keep in mind, there are a lot of young guys there. But if you look at our WAR for the end of the year, 23.7. Okay, now let's compare that to the 2021 San Diego Padres projected lineup. So last year in 2020, they had a 37-23 record. Again, I'm just projecting this lineup. There could be a lot more changes. I shouldn't say a lot more. The bullpen will probably get shored up a little bit. I don't think they'll add too many other possible starters, but you never know. So we go down the list here. We've got Nola at 0.3. We've got Eric Hosmer 1.1. We got Jay Cronenworth with 1.6. We got Fernando Tatis Jr. 2.8. Manny Machado with a 3.1. Tommy Pham had a down year last year. I was checking out his stats. His average was down pretty good. Negative 0.1. Trent Grisham had a nice year, 2.4. Then Will Myers, 1.8. You got Blake Snell with a 1.1. Yu Darvish, huge year, 2.7. We've got Dinelson Lamet with a 2.4. We got Paddock with a 0.3. Morejon with a 0. And then you've got the bullpen right here. Again, the bullpen, I took a guess. I just picked 3 guys. Who knows what it's going to look like, but we got a 1.0, a 0.4, and then a 0.6, okay? Now, you add these up, and you got 21.5. Now, here's the thing again, and remember, this is only in 60 games, so I had to use my math skills and figure out what that would equate to for a 162-game season. It comes out to 58 WAR. So clearly much higher than the 23.7 here. Again, not a perfect comparison because I said a lot of young guys on the old roster over here on the left with the 2008 Padres, but still gives you a little bit of an idea of what these two teams look like. Let me know first. Let me know if I messed up anywhere here. I don't watch the Padres every single day, but I did put kind of what I think is a projected lineup, okay? Also keep in mind that you've got Clevenger, who won't be thrown in here right now. But in the future, especially 2022, you throw that guy in here. And who knows what else is going on? People are saying, oh, Trevor Bauer's going to sign with the Padres. I'd be hard-pressed to see that happening. I just can't see them spending that much money when they already have so many starting pitchers. But the Padres are in it to win it right now. They are really going all in. And I guess it wouldn't surprise me if they picked whoever they picked up. I had a few Padres fans that were shooting me comments saying that they said 2021 was the year that they felt, they were going to go for it. And this was a few years ago. And clearly it looks like that they're going for it. And this should be a run, I think, that should be a prolonged thing here. A lot of these players have contracts that these aren't just one-year contracts, but they've got this team together for a while here. So it should be really, really interesting and exciting. And if you're a Padres fan, you've got to be pumped because you don't have to watch me try to play second base anymore. You've got much, much better players here. And I didn't even throw in Kim. So we could throw Kim in here also, which we don't really know what he's going to look like, but he's had a great career overseas. So anyways, let me know what you think about this comparison. Give me a thumbs up if you could. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Can't wait for the season to start up. Hopefully spring training starts up at some point soon. And that's all we have. We'll talk to you later.